one of the most important classes because this is where you kind of learn to judge how much to charge for a particular day.
Yeah.
Now the reason that's important is because this is kind of like on your own thing. It's your knowledge of what a size of a dent should be, and how much to charge. The rest of the stuff is easy because the estimating program gives you the time. Gives you the time. So like if you tomorrow we'll start with a computer, but what I'm trying to say is the estimating program will say how much is it to replace the bumper or RNI the bumper. RNI is remove and install the bumper. And you go to a particular car because you enter the VIN number and they'll tell you that particular car what the task is and how much it would take. So at that particular time, they'll say, well, the book says, or the estimating program says that it's 1.7 to remove that bumper and to reinstall it again. So it's a given number. Go ahead, you can open that up. Got anything else? Got anything wrong? All right. So, reminds me of my cousin being here. It's okay when you know. Just go ahead and say it. Anyway, what I'm getting at is the rest of the program is easy enough because all the times are provided for you. And you just say, well, I need to replace this shit. Boom, and then the time comes. But what I have here today, and I started by, I like sports and I like just about anything when it comes to sports. So I in my class I designated as with the shape wise it may not be the same, but as far as size wise, that's what you're looking up over here in the So what I'm getting at is, so if you got a golf ball, or something or thereabouts as far as size, you don't want to be, because, you could say, the minimum is probably, the minimum you can charge for labor would be 0.1, which is 0.1, you multiply that by $54, and what would you get? Let's see. So 54 times 0.01. Look at no. There. $54 times 0.1. You're looking at $5.40 for something that to repair for 0.1.
Right.
Forget that. That's what it would be if it was the smallest thing that you wanted to repair. Mm-hmm. 0.1. You know what you get for 0.1? This is my toolbox. Oh, I'm gonna put my toolbox over here. I'm a technician. And then this is my toolbox. For 0.1, I open that drawer and I close it back up again. That's what 0.1 is. Okay, so we're not going to charge anybody 0.1 for anything. So what you do is your judgment call. So for a dent on a fender for that amount, I would just go 1 hour. Okay. Now you say, well, 1 hour, is that like a constant thing? No, not necessarily. You can judge if it's a dent that size and it is on a plain piece of metal. Like for example, you got a nice smooth fender here, and the little dent is right there. Well, an hour is okay for that, but we know that that's not the case in many cars. So, because let's just say it's a different kind of car, and it has a body line right here. You know, and then that body line makes it so this area here has a different plane than this area here. There's a body line there. So if you were to look at it on the side, oh, that car has some sweet lines to it, you know, it's kind of nice. So what happens if this little dent is over here, because it's more common that it would be there because it's a protruding area. So a cross section of this would be, you know, say like this, and then like that. That's it. And then if the dent is there, then not only do you have to repair one plane, but you also have to repair the upper plane. So you got two planes to repair. In other words, you got to dent out the car, take the dent out. Now, does anybody know how a car gets their dents pulled? No? Okay. So for this 1 hour that you're going to repair, what's going to have to happen is that fender will have to be, they're going to grind it all down to bare metal. Okay? After it's grounded, it's, well, you know, the dent's still there. Well, in order to weld a nail to it, it's a nail. We're not working with wood. No, it's called a nail. It has a little rounding, and then just like that. And what that does is it's a dent pulling system that they have that almost any technician can afford. It's not that big of a deal. So this nail gets put into, anybody remember what a soldering iron used to look like? I mean, they still have them, of course, but you know, it kind of looks like a soldering iron, but the little nail is there. And then, you know, just make it so it's like a gun. And so what he does is he pulls, he makes that metal, bare metal again. Then he gets that nail, and he'll press the trigger, and this little piece of metal, we call it a nail, will get welded onto that.
Welded?
It gets instantly welded. All right. So now, you know, that he has that on there, you know, and he might want to use 2 or 3 of them. You know, he might want to use, because these things they're made out of copper, and you can use 2 or 3 of them. Say, you know, so let's just say that after this is bare metal again, maybe he'll put one here, one in the center, one here, and from there he'll grab a dent pulling tool, which in many cases and in most cases is a vice grips. But he grabs that nail, because that nail, once it's installed, is by itself, it's welded onto the metal, right? So he'll grab the vice grips, you know. And then he'll pull the metal with the vice grips right to where it's supposed to be. And then when he's done pulling and the metal is actually straight, you know, he might use, like I said, 1, 2, or 3 of those nails. Then he can go ahead and grind it again. So it's just basically these are one-time use. These nails, one-time use. So he pulls it. The metal is now straight where it's supposed to be, and now he's ready for the body fillers. What is a body fillers? Body fillers is commonly known as bondable. Okay, and basically it's a plastic that gets a hardener, and once you mix it, it's just as metal. It's hard as metal. It's like anyway. So once this is all done, they either cut it off or grind it off. And then you're ready for the mud. We call it mud too. Okay, so now he puts on the mud. Okay, he says, oh, it still doesn't look good. And what you want is you want to make sure that your guy, that he knows what he's doing. You want to leave, let's say if the area is being fixed, you want to, all this is grounded into the bare metal. You want to make sure that all that is, in other words, you don't want him putting plastic on top of paint, like in this case, like if you were to put that on top of the paint, that's looking for a problem later on. Okay, so the body plastic or the bondo or the body filler has to be put on bare metal. Okay, so you got that. The body work is repaired. He smoothed it out. He sanded it this way and he sanded it that way, and then he created that body line again. So once he created that body line, then he has to, and the body fillers are nice and smooth again. Then he has to put primer. And a good job will require that primer dry overnight, so that the next day it could be sanded down with maybe 1500, which is a fine water based, and then you basically have to sand every part of that fender, you know, and go from there. So because this is a body line, something that size, and it happened to have a body line there, you know, so you fix that area. So instead of just 1 hour, then I would go with 1.5 at least. That's like the friendly price. Now, what you want to do is, it's all a judgment call. So you don't want to make it so high that then you get beat out of the competition, because you know a lot of people, you know, it doesn't happen that much anymore. The insurance companies are getting more and more tricky with their claims, in the sense that they'll, you know, like I had a case like that I had to explain to the people. I said, look, man, they want you to go over there because, you know, we've gotten into that before. They want you to go over there because they save money, you know, that ERP situation, you know. So anyway, so going back to this part, as far as repairing vehicles, that's how it gets done. But I would say, you know, something the size of a baseball, you're looking at, you know, 2 to 2.5 hours. On this one, size of a softball, I would go 3 hours to 3.5. Okay. Volleyball, we're looking at same thing, 4 to 4.5 hours to repair it. And of course, the basketball, you want to get 5 hours to 5.5. Well, shit, man, what about a beach ball? That's getting pretty big. Okay, beach ball? Size of a beach ball, a dent is that big. The only time, if it's that big and it's on a door, you want to skin the door. Does anybody know what skinning the door or skinning a panel?
Taking the outer layer.
Huh?
Take off the outer layer of it.
The outer layer, yeah. And so if it's bigger than this and it's more closer to that, you want to skin it. Because skin it pays, the skin a door is about 6.5 hours, and that's book time plus the cost of the part. Cost of part. And that is for skinning. It's also known as skin door.
Okay, it's also known as repair panel replacement. Repair panel replace. In other words, this and this means the same. It's just rather than say repair panel replacement, you say door. You want the door needs to be skinned. Boom, that's it. Okay, so the only time that you would want to go over anything is possibly on a hood, or on a roof, or on a quarter panel, or a deck lid. Panels that are big. So this is okay for anywhere from 6 hours to 9 hours. This size. Something depending on what you see. The guy comes in and needs a paint job. Why does it need a paint job? Well, these are just automatic things. The hood is great. It doesn't have any dents on it or anything, but the clear coat is off. It's gone. What you may call it, oil is faded. The paint is faded, or what's that other term they use? The paint is, it's oxidized. You've heard that term. That paint is oxidized. Da, 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 da. Okay, so it's straight. That hood is straight. But you know what? In order to get that paint to look shiny again, the whole paint's gonna come off. So you got a hood, you better charge yourself about 3 hours to remove all that junk paint, primer the darn thing, then give it a nice smooth sanding. It's got to be smoother than a baby's butt, and then it's ready for paint. And that paint will stay. Will stay on there for even if you don't just wash the car once a week and not wax it at all. It still should be you should be able to have that paint on that hood for a good 10, 15, 20 years, depending on how you take care of it. So that's the labor part. That is not in the computer. It's what they call a judgment item. In the industry, it's called a judgment item, because you have to figure out what you're going to charge.
I want to ask you a question, Rob, about the door.
Yeah.
What if the damage is so extensive that the repair requires more than just the outer skin?
Then you need to replace the whole
Just
shell.
replace the whole door.
And on some of for example, on BMWs, they don't have such a thing as a repair panel. Oh, it's got a big dent, you got to replace the door. No, you have two options. Thank me to sit again. You have two options. First of all, BMW has very, very little. I don't know if it has to do with copyrights, or they got better lawyers, or I don't know why, but for some reason BMWs were in the past 15, 20 years, the aftermarket companies that build those aftermarket parts, for some reason they've been staying away from the BMWs. The high-end cars. They kind of gave up on Mercedes because they were, for a while there, they were changing models every year, or, there's different kind of models. I mean, you still got, the D, the E, and the C, and the S class Mercedes, however, there's just so many. So I think some of the companies that do aftermarket parts have picked up some of the parts so that they could, sell them on eBay or whatever, or in the regular aftermarket way. But these are just judgment items. Now, when it comes to, for example, let's say that we're repairing this door, and we're going to go with
with a 5-hour dent on the door. So imagine the size of a basketball. We're gonna repair it. We made the decision to repair it. Now, remember what I told you. Oh, here it is. So, let's just say that if this is a, okay, we're going to do 6 to 9 over here. I'm going to erase this part here. And then we're going to say that this here is a front door. So if it has a front door, it's going to have a mirror. That's a mirror. You don't like the way I paint? Well, sorry. Okay, and then it'll have a molding here. This molding here on the top of the door, on the outside, is called, you know, the bell molding. I think we already have that. Okay. Now, obviously this is a door handle. And oftentimes, especially when they want to do jazz the car up. You know, he was always trying to jazz up the car. So this particular car has a model that has what they call a cladding. Oh, the bottom half of the door is like this texture molding that it has, and it's all black. I'm sure you guys have seen some of those. This bottom molding is a separate piece, and it's called door cladding. So now, going back to that size of the basket, we got the dent, and it's more towards the front. Actually, let me do it the other way. It's more towards the back than it is to the front. So let's just say that the dent is about here. So now, we're gonna start going what's gonna cost to repair that door, okay? We're not replacing the door stick, we're repairing the door. And we have to get paid for everything we do. Okay, so this happens to be a sedan, and then there's this door has another door behind it, right? Because it's a sedan. So here's the back door. And of course it's gonna have a bell molding. It's gonna have a cladding. Alright, so this is where we're at. So you come upon this car to estimate it. And what you're gonna write is this. Well, you're gonna write in your shorthand, make-believe thing that you created on your own deal. You say, okay, well, left front door. So you're gonna go left front, PR. I'm gonna go 5 hours repair. Plus refinish. That's your note. Now, it didn't take you long to write that. But then, what else did you notice? That it's a task that you gotta do. Because now, 5 hours will get you the door repaired, but what else has to be done?
Paint.
You gotta paint it. But before we can paint it, what do we gotta do? So we're gonna charge R&I left door mirror. Shit. I don't know. Okay, R&I left door mirror.
probably gonna go for about 27. We gotta take off the bell molding because we want the paint to fall all the way to the area where that bell molding covers. So R&I left, you know, basically we're referring to the front door. The front door. But remember, we're not gonna have to write none of this. It's just gonna be on there. What I do for this, I just want you to learn it from the right. But basically, what I'm gonna write, my estimate is gonna write left front door 5 hours, and then my next line is gonna be detrim door. What do you mean detrim? Well, basically it's all these operations that we're gonna do. So R&I left front belt. R&I exterior door handle. So we're going to charge for the handle. I mean, for the bell molding is going to be 0.3. This exterior door handle, that could be 1.2. And then we're not going to stop there. What else? Before we got the cladding, right? R&I left cladding for that front door. But these claddings have issues, so let's just say it's 0.8 to remove it. But here's what's going to happen. In your estimate, every single one of these clips, once you take that cladding off, they're going to break. So in order for you to take that cladding off, these little clips will break, and it happens to have, for this cladding, let's just say, it has 9 of them, 9 clips. So replace clips for the cladding. On Toyotas, you may have as many as 3 different kinds of clips. You gotta add those. The program will tell you. They'll say 8 on each side, 3 of this kind, and 7 on the other kind, and that kind of stuff. Okay, what else can we do? Because this is going to be a money item. So let's just say 7 claddings. The cost of this will be involving parts turn out to be $27.13 worth of clips. Well, we're not going to buy them unless they pay for it, and we're not going to be able to put the cladding back on unless we've got new clips. So it needs to be had. But you don't want to lose the money just because you have to put on the cladding. This is money that's owed to you in the estimate. Okay, so you got the left front door, 5 hours, and then 0.7 for the R&I in the mirror, another 0.3 for the bell molding, 1.2 for the door handle, and then the left cladding has to be removed, but then you got to replace the clips. Now, what else could go needed? I'm not going to make you guess, I'm just going to tell you. In order to get this door handle in many new cars, you can just get it from the little screw here and then loosen it up, and then you can get the rest of it out. But if the car is a little bit older, inside this door is what they call the trim panel. And in order to get that door handle out, it may require that the door trim panel be removed in order to get to it. So over here happens to be an older vehicle, something like, I don't know, 2013, that's old for body shop. So for that car, we're gonna have R&I door trim panel. may be 0.5. Okay, so now, what else is gonna happen? Or what else needs to happen? Last week, it was the beginning of the week, and I was telling you, hey, you know, wow, they fixed the dent over here. But guess what? It's very, very close. It's less than 18 inches away from the adjacent panel. So this being the adjacent panel, so what do we have to do? We have to, what is commonly known as blending. And when we have to blend, that means we gotta paint. So again, we gotta go R&I. We gotta R&I that. We gotta R&I the cladding. We gotta R&I the door handle. Now, it's the rear door, so it doesn't have a mirror, but it does have the bell molding, right? So inside that door handle is gonna be what? A trim panel, right? So R&I the trim panel. Okay, so it's not beginning to look like a 5-hour dent anymore, right? Now, this happens to be more than 18 inches before we get to the fender, so that means that the painter can give the base coat here, all this is base coat, and then they can, you know, blend it, and then by the time it gets here, when it's time to clear it, that color will be the same as the fender, you know, this over here. So they don't have to do that one because we got 18 inches here. However, you don't have 18 inches here, so you gotta blend this. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, that's the deal there. So let's just say you got your calculator. Go ahead and put down, you know, let's start adding that up. 5 hours for the dent.
Yeah, 8.5 hours completely with what you put up there already.
How much is it?
8.5 hours up there.
Okay, 8.5 hours, but then we got R&I.
Then you got R&I, right?
So let's just say for the rear door, R&I, the bell molding is another 0.3.
Okay.
The door handle is how much did I say the handle was?
0.2? Yeah. 0.2.
Well, 1.2, right?
Well, yeah, 1.2.
Yeah, 1.2. And then the cladding. The cladding is another 0.5. So what are we up to?
9.5.
9.5 for everything?
Yeah, everything.
Plus another set of clips for the rear cladding. So let's just say that we got $50 with the clips. So let's add that up. So we got $50 with the clips. And then we have, what did you say, 9.5 hours?
All total, yeah, between front door and back door.
Okay,
Or the back fender.
9.5?
9.5.
Okay, so now you got 9.5 plus multiplied by $54 an hour.
513.
513, okay. Now, that will get you the car ready for paint. So, let's just say the front door is gonna be 3.2 and the rear door is gonna be 2.9. So 2.9. So that's refinish labor. Refinish labor, I wanna make sure everybody gets this. You got 3.2 and 2.8, that will be 6 hours, right?
Yes.
So that's the refinishing time, and the book will tell you. That's the refinishing time for painting one door and blending the other. 6 hours. Now, what happens with the 6 hours? 6 hours multiplied by $54 an hour. Go ahead and tally that up. See where we're at so far.
324.
Okay, are you writing it down? Write it down somewhere so that you can all figure it out. Okay, so right now, what's the total of the estimate so far?
$837.
837. Okay, so they got 6 hours, and they're gonna pay me for 6 hours of paint labor. They're gonna pay me $40 an hour for paint materials. So 6 times 40 is what?
240.
Huh?
240.
Okay, so 240. So what's the total now?
1,077.
1,077. Okay. Then the only thing that's left is actually the taxable clips. $50 worth of clips taxed at, 8.380 plus $240 you said of paint materials. That tax that.
Right.
And then after you come up with a total, in theory, that's what an estimate would look like for a 5-hour dent on that door. And we're gonna go over this over and over in different scenarios and that sort of thing, but basically that's the bottom line estimating. You're gonna learn
$312.69 with tax.
how much?
$312.69 with the tax.
$312.
Yeah, for the when you add up the 240 plus the what was it, the 240,
240 and 50, so
And
that's
50.
290.
290, and then the rest is the tax, which is 8.3 in the city, something like
Well, in the county.
county. Yeah.
Yeah. How much tax is it?
The balance,
For $290, how much is the tax?
that's $22.69 tax.
Okay, so that will go. So. That's what I get when I wasn't very active this week. Now my knees are paying for it. So okay, so now we got that. We just gonna do the math now. That you guys just did on your calculators, but I just wanna kind of put it in as a. So we're gonna go with body. Body labor was, what was it? 9 point what?
9.5 total.
9.5 body labor. Paint labor. This is at the bottom of the estimate. This is what it's gonna look like. We said it was 6 hours. Then we got parts. Parts was how much? $50.
Yeah, $50 in parts. Yeah.
Then we got paint materials, P&M. Actually, this goes. We were gonna write it or not. We didn't estimate it would be. Oh shit, I made a mistake again. P&M is basically paint materials. And you said it was $240, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then this is taxable, and so is this. Okay. 9.5 times 54. $54 an hour equals how much?
513.
$5.13. And for pay materials, 6 hours at $54 an hour.
324.
324. Okay, so we got the 513, the 324, the $50, and the 240. And then the tax, we said it was 22. After we figured it out, tax was $22 and how much?
69 cents.
69 cents. So the grand total for this estimate would be 513 plus 324 plus 50 plus 24 plus 22.69. And what was the total?
1149.69.
1149.69. Okay. Now, customer might go down the street and say, oh, or they'll walk in and then they might want to just charge $52 an hour, and then that will bring it down how much? If we were doing 9.5 times 52, what would it be?
494.
494. So now Joe's Body Shop, while we're getting 513, he's willing to do it for 594.
490.
494, okay. And then the 6 hours, he's doing it at 52. He might be what is that, like 298 or some shit like that?
312.
Huh?
312.
312?
Yeah.
We're not really saving that much there, 312. So at the end of the day, $12 there and what about $19 there? Something like that?
Yeah.
At the bottom of the people sometimes will look at the bottom line and say, well, I can get the car done for almost just a little bit over 1,100, you know? And these people wanted 1,149. So then what it boils down to is your charisma, your salesmanship, your, you know, so, because every now and then you get people that are shoppers, you know, they're looky-loos, they're, you know, once every 3 months they got an extra $300 and it's like, shit, what am I gonna do? I sure like to get my car fixed and da-da-da. But they never ever have the money. That's the problem with cash cows, because this would be a cash cow. Have any questions here before we move on to other things? Actually, this is kind of like the nutshell. There's going to be different variations of everything. So, let's say for example, it was a fender. Well, in order to repair a fender, let's say you have the same kind of dent on a fender. Instead of the door, it's a fender. Well, in the fender, you're going to be removing the front bumper. Why? Because it's right next to it. You're going to be removing let's say it's the left fender, you're going to be removing the left headlight assembly. Because you don't want just to mask it off, like some people do, and paint it, and then you got the paint shipping 3 months from the fact that you didn't take out the headlight, took it out. Well, you just mask it off. And then you're going to be taking out, let's just say, there a lot of fenders have like the continuation of the mirror, like it's on the fender side, and they have, that's called a garnish. Left fender garnish, you have to take that out. And the last thing you gotta take out is, which a lot of technicians don't like. They like to get paid for it, but they don't like to take it out because it's a pain in the ass. It's called taking out the fender liner, or splash shield. It's the plastic part inside the fender where the water just goes in there. And if you don't wash your vehicle regularly, oftentimes that thing is just so brown and muddy and, you know, with a whole bunch of junk, especially if you ever had a vehicle drive over wet paint and all the wet paint goes on the rocker panel and the splash shields and all that. What happened to my, you know, and you went over some fresh paint somewhere. That's kind of like what happens. You know? So it makes a difference when, again, that same 5-hour dent on that door, had there been a body molding or a body line there, that automatically, you know, 5-hour door that becomes a 6-hour dent instead of a 5-hour dent. Because that body lines, the technician not only has to repair the top, but at the bottom there are 2 different planes, and that's what happens. Which is kind of talking about planes. Let's say, for example, first of all, when it comes to paint, like I said, you know, insurance companies are always trying to save money. So let's say, for example, that a car that comes in, it's black, and it's just plain shiny black. It doesn't have any metallic in or anything like that. Or the car is white. Now, if the car is white, there could be as many as 10 different whites. If the car is black, there could be as many as 7 or 8 different blacks, depending on manufacturer. You know, so if you go by the paint code, you should be pretty close on the blacks and the whites. So insurance companies don't want to pay you any blending time for those colors. This is something that they decided, you know, between all of them and whatever, you know. Like I said, we're kind of like coming in on the. I'm not saying it's the end of the industry because you know, but the custom fixing custom cars and restoration vehicles and all that, that's going to be around for another 100 years. The modern day automobiles that are coming out today that, you know, they break before the driver knows about it, and they avoid accidents and things like that with the electronics that are being put out today. Well, the only people that are standing to lose in that situation is the body shop system, you know, the body shop customers, body shop industry. Because, well, if the vehicle breaks and avoids an accident, well, shit, that's $4,000 or $5,000 that I could have had, but they braked, you know. And that's kind of like what happens, you know. In many ways, we're at a loss that way. But people are still always going to enjoy their vehicles. They're always going to enjoy the passion of driving around. And, I don't know. One of the things that I enjoy as a youngster is driving. I had the opportunity to own a Porsche in Germany, and they have a lot of areas where you could drive. And it's kind of like what would be considered rally driving, rally sports, which you're going up a mountain and you got all these curves and boom, 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 and it's just the thrill of driving that at the fastest speed that you can. It's really kind of a thing, you know. But the pleasure of driving takes part there, you know. Okay, so we're going to. Did everybody got an idea as far as, you know, what to charge? Because you know, we could go outside. I mean, I could show you in my computer. Is there any way I could show my computer maybe just for a little bit? Is there a plug right behind you there?
Yeah, there is, yeah.
Okay.
If we're gonna be talking a lot about using your computer route from now on, I can bring a TV in here
Okay.
with
No, we can do that tomorrow if you want.
Okay, yeah.
Today I just want to show you some photos
Okay.
of you know, damaged vehicles.
Okay.
And let's see, sort of like a TV tray or something around here that I could stand further back enough, or maybe I can move this.
Yeah, maybe so.
Can I move this?
Yeah, I don't think why not.
That way I can. We may not be able to see everything, but you can certainly see photographs.
I'll project everything on the laptop.
Oh, there's a plug right there. I can plug it right there. Thank you. Thank you there, Mr. Brian. So, I bought this computer, I would say maybe 3.5, 4 years ago, because I was used to writing estimates out of my location, and that's probably what you guys are going to need to do, because, you know, do that. And I can't honestly say how much, but it's paid for itself like gazillion times. be jealous now, because I'm an Eagle fan, okay? Anybody like football at all? A little bit here and there. We don't have any football guys over here, are they?
I don't know a single thing about any sports, football or any other sport. Pretty bad to say that I'm from Miami. You don't know anything about sports, not one thing. Barely even know what a touchdown is. It's crazy.
I went to a sporting event, only one sporting event in the whole time that I lived in Miami, which was only 6 months or so. I went to the baseball game at the baseball place I was taken, listen to, what's his name? Don F. Kennedy. How long that was.
It must have been the Orange Bowl.
Huh?
It must have been the Orange Bowl
Probably so.
in Little Havana.
Is that what it was?
I don't know if it was Little Havana. Well, yeah, it probably
What
was.
they call it, La Sabuesera.
Yeah.
La Flag.
Yeah, right in that area.
You guys ever listen to a guy, a Cuban comedian by the name of, you would, only probably you, and maybe him, but it sounds different in Spanish. Amarejele.
Of course.
Hmm?
Of course.
How about Rosendo Rosel?
I heard the name, but I don't think I've ever heard him. I know he's before Alvarez Guedes. I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember the name when I was a kid.
Anyway, so what I want to do is show you some stuff here. So basically, this is going to be your number one tool for estimating. No internet here? Are you serious about that? You're gonna need that for, is there another spot in the area? I mean, it's okay for right now,
But what do you need?
but, you're gonna need internet access.
Go to your
I'm okay right now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm gonna show you some photos. Okay, this is what is called this is a photo file. So, according to this photo file, we start out with, like, I remember telling you guys the 7 automatic photos, right? That are required. So we got the left front. Make that bigger. And we got a taco over here. Got hidden the left rear. So this taco, that's your first picture, your second picture. Here's where the damage is, right there. Then you got the right rear and the right front. The only reason I put that on there is because I was getting a glare. So you want to protect your photo. You're showing them everything they need to show them, but I put that there because there was a big glare coming through. Okay. Then of course you got your license plate. As you can see, it's close enough so that they can see the 01 or 24. So that means the registration will be over 01 or 24. Then you got the nomenclature sticker or the VIN number, but it tells you everything. In this case, it's just so that you guys start learning how to. Let me see if I want, one of you young guys, if I wanted to get rid of that little bar, how do I do that? Is there a way to do that? Oh,
A little bar at the bottom?
yeah, this little bar with all the pictures on it. Can I take that off?
You should be able to.
The only reason, oh, here we go, never mind.
Okay.
Okay, so if you see at the very bottom there, it will say a C and then /TR. What that means is the first number of this vehicle, the first number is going to be 8W2. Can anybody see that?
Yeah.
8W2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 8W2 is the paint color because the C is here. C, and then it's showing you where they are. So the C is the first code, AW2. Okay, now the next thing after the slash is TR, which is the trim code. Sometimes they miss a match. You know, a car could come blue, but you know the trim code says that the interior is black. I don't know what color the interior is on this car, but the trim code for that car is LB25. It's after the slide. Am I getting? In other words, the first thing right there that they're showing is they're telling you that C/TR, meaning that the first code, what was it? The paint code on this one is
802?
AW2.
Oh, 8W.
So basically they're gonna have AW2 is the trim code. This corresponds with the first C, meaning the color, right? And then the TR is the trim code. The trim code is, what was it? Trim code LB25. So LB25. All right, so do you see how they correlate it? They say, okay, the C, that means it's the first number of the slash. And then the second one is the trim code. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So then we go on to the next photograph, and that's the mileage. This vehicle has 58,955 miles. Another thing you can see in this is the date that it was built. So right here on the top right hand corner will say date November of 2017. That means that this truck was built November of 2017. The thing is 5 years old already. It looks good. Okay, there's other things. Does anybody know what a wheelbase is on a vehicle?
Yeah, the distance between the front tire and the back tire. Like
From where?
from the center of the tire.
Correct. So if somebody says, oh, you may get a choice like this, you know, so you want to order a part, and then the guy at the other end of the phone, because you're ordering a part, you got your center of the tire there where the hub is, and you got then the guy in the parts department says, oh, I can't really tell by the VIN number what the wheelbase is. So the wheelbase, so what is the wheelbase? It's like what he said, from this distance to this distance, it's in inches. So let's say, they'll give the parts guy an option. Okay, it's either the 128 wheelbase or one that's a little longer, or the 148 wheelbase from here to here. So then he'll ask you, well, which one is it? Well, shit, I don't know. Let me go find out and I'll call you back. So then you gotta go out there with a measuring wheel. But it also will tell you here, what the wheelbase is. In this particular vehicle, according to this, says that that's just talking about the tires. In some cases it does say it, in some cases it don't. In either case, all you have to do is measure it.
Mm-hmm.
this particular case. It's telling you the type of tires that it's, type of tires that the factory engineered size-wise to correspond with the speedometer. Okay, so it says, oh, what does the speedometer got to do with the tire size? Well, has everything to do with it, because if your tire is bigger, that means one circular around, you're going to travel further than with a smaller tire. The smaller tire may have to go around twice before it gets to the same distance. So it has everything to do with it as far as. So if the manufacturer put in this, but you think that you want to be a fancy guy and let's put some bigger tires on there. Well, the speedometer is going to be off.
Yeah.
It's just going down the road. Oh, I got this big. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. All right. So, and then right after this, after the mileage, I got the mileage, and then we will start out figuring out what's wrong with the car. Now, when I initially started taking the estimate on this vehicle, I saw that this was the only real damage, and it was here. But then I started reading the facts of the loss. The facts of the loss is what really happened. Insurance people are usually don't. They give out the information in the estimating system as to where the car got hit. Later on, after I took the pictures, I found out that it wasn't the right rear at all that was being claimed. This is another damage that I found there, but it was this is also from the right side. And taking pictures of the right side, it wasn't that at all. Okay, so this is the first picture of the actual damage, and as you can see, this is what the damage was being paid for. The people that are liable for this damage don't want nothing to do with the right side damage. They only want to pay for this because this is all they owe. So as you can see here, the bottom metal piece on here is bent. It's called it's a bumper side. They used to call it bumperette, but it's on a taco. So, and then you can see when it got hit enough that look at how narrow it is over here and how wide it is over here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
How it got hit. So basically, this was kind of like a nothing estimate. As it is, it did cost the insurance company $1,200 to repair that. We replaced this and we replaced that. So, well, what's wrong with this? Well, it has like a little scuff mark right here, and that's enough to replace it. Okay, I want to teach you a term that the insurance companies use. Only the seasoned appraisers use it. They make a deal with an owner. And the deal that they make is called an appearance allowance. And I'm going to show you what that is. Let's say that this wasn't a claimant's vehicle, but an insured vehicle. Now that insured vehicle has a $500 deductible. Most people have like $500 deductible. Some of the fancy people, they have, $70,000, $80,000 cars. They carry they don't want to spend that much money on a car, so they go with the $2,500 deductible on a car. So if we're looking at this, this rear bumper and the little scuff right there, well, it turns out that, let's just say I'm just going to pull this. This is called the rear bumper. a step back. It didn't happen in this one because this vehicle happened to be happened to belong to a claim as opposed to an insured. So this step pad, the cost of that step pad, let's just say, is off the top of my head, $350. Now, the experienced, smart appraiser, he wants to save money for his company because here's what happens is, and I'll get that in a minute. Remind me about cost per claim. Let's just say cost per claim in the auto. Okay, so this rear bumper step back costs $350. Now, this adjuster will go to the owner of the car and says, you know what? Technically, I'm supposed to replace your step pad here, this black job. But if you allow, because it only has like a little scuff mark, if you let me give you an appearance allowance on this thing, I can knock down $175 from your deductible. Half of it. So it says, okay, so now instead of his deductible being $500, it's now gonna be $325. Well, a lot of people will go for that. I don't mind living with a little scuff mark here, keep that. So the whole thing is called appearance allowance of $175, and they'll write that on there on the estimate. Allowance. So this, oh, by the way, this is kind of like so you know accounting, this means it's a debit, it's a negative. So it's just like saying minus 175. It's the same thing. Minus or take out. So now he only gets to pay $325. So now that's his new deductible for this particular claim. Appearance allowance. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And they do that. And they just saved the insurance company $175 just by letting the guy use the old one. It doesn't go well for body shops because we get to lose money that we could have bought the part and make 32% on it or something, But they always trying to save money, appearance allowance. Anyway, going back to a cost per claim. So these guys are always, we got, let's just say an insurance company has 4 guys. We got a guy named John. I don't know how to spell John. We got a guy named Ray. We got a guy named Brian. And we got a guy named Joe. Okay, all these guys are adjusters for the insurance company. They work for, I don't know, State Farm, whatever. They all have the same area. So, you think that the insurance company is not going to grade them? Yeah, they have a way of grading them. Okay. And that is called the cost per claim. Okay. Cost per claim. And what that is they'll count 50 of John's claims, 50 claims, and they'll average it out what he's spending per claim. And then you'll have that average, right? The same thing for Ray, same thing for Brian, same thing for Joe. Now, they'll come up with a similar figures, but there's always going to be one guy that is more, I don't know, more stingy than the other ones.
Frugal.
And then after 50 claims, you're going to be able to tell who's giving the store away and who's not.
Right.
And that's how they grade these guys. So if you want to keep your job and you know somebody comes to your shop and says, isn't that? Yeah, well, I've been with Progressive for 9 years. This fucker's gonna hit me. He's not gonna be giving shit away, okay? Because he was able to keep his job. And as far as we're talking for adjusters, let's just say that religion-wise, it's called the unpardonable sin of an adjuster is to, I think I said it before, it's called repairing a total loss. So something that after everything was said and done, let's just say that repairs are 95% finished and we're at 63%. All of a sudden, this didn't pass inspection, that didn't pass inspection, and now I need another $600 to finish the job. They already spent $4,700 for the whole job, so this $600 is going to throw it over the top. It's going to be a total loss. Well, an adjuster doesn't want that. You get too many of those, here's your walking papers. Because the insurance company makes money from the total losses, so I just wanted to put that in there. I want to show you some more photos of the cars on a day basis, like all right, so okay, we got all these are. Sometimes I happen to have information as long as you leave everything okay. You don't want to show customers these type of photographs. For example, this photograph. This photograph is. I just needed to know who the car belonged to. So I went into the glove compartment. It's a personal area of the vehicle. I went in there and I wanted the information. So I don't want to wait another day or two to find out if the people were home or not or whatever. So I had that, so I was able to get that information. So basically, the agent, you never ever, as an estimator, you never ever really talk to an agent. You talk to the insurance company, the claims department, that sort of thing. This is a State Farm case. Vehicle belonged to Alberto and Medicia Achaval. DBA as apparently they're chiropractors. They live in whatever. That's their address. I probably shouldn't have shown you that, but anyway, it is what it is. I took that photo because I needed the information and I didn't want to sit there and write it. So the minute that I was done with that photo, I put it back into the glove compartment and nobody's complaining about it. But I needed that information. Again, you need 16, 17 items of information to write a computerized insurance system. So let's just go to, I believe this is, this is a caddy. I wrote an estimate for this car. It got hit in the front. Or actually, they hit somebody. So that's why it's damaged in the front. This is a 2013 XTS. And There's your left front again, left rear, right rear. Can you see okay, Carlos?
Yeah.
And then your right front. Next picture, obviously, the license plate, the VIN number. This one has very little information because they have all this stuff. It's a Cadillac, so a lot of the stuff is in other areas of the car, information-wise. They'll have, for example, they'll have it on the very first part of the estimating system. It'll say information labels. Sometimes if a vehicle gets hit in an area, you got to replace those. Replace information labels. Why? Because you may have to get a new part and have to paint it. And if you got to paint it, this has to come off. Don't be lazy and have the people. If you don't charge for it, then a lot of people will mask that off and then, paint it, and then you'll have a ridge to where the paint will fall off.
Yeah.
You want that. So you want new labels every time. Anyway, so then we got, this car has been driven 122,488 miles. And then we start kind of looking at close up to the damage. So right here, we got hit here, but it started causing problems here on the left fender, right fender. I mean, as you can see, it popped the retainer clip that holds this bumper cover. It popped it out, and of course, you can see there that that's not holding anymore. So once again, we're gonna. This is a repair that. What would you say? Now that you've kind of learned a little bit, how much time do you have involved there for damage like that? Remember, you got a body line. See that body line right there?
Oh yeah.
And it damaged it. So based on what you can see on the sides there, what would be your answer?
Rob, can you put the screen down just a little bit? Because I think
Is that down?
there you go. I can see better now. Yeah. Oh yeah, I see the dent there. I couldn't really see it at first.
Okay. So I want Brian to answer this. Go ahead. Based on what you learned today, as far as the balls and all that stuff.
Is 5 to 25?
How much?
5 hours? To 5
No,
hours?
it's too high, man. That's high. 5, first of all, it's kind of like a basketball. That doesn't look like a basketball to me, does it? Because it's not. This is not a dent. We're talking about this dent
Oh,
here.
you know what it is? The way that the light hits the car, doesn't it look like it has a dent?
It looks like it's.
It's an optical illusion, Rob. Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking the same thing.
I thought that was a 10 as well.
Yeah.
No, it's all right. No, I'm sorry. I'm looking at this guy right here.
Oh, okay. Because from my perspective, because of the way that
Yeah.
picture was
Maybe
taken.
I picked the wrong.
No. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, it's definitely much smaller. We're talking 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours is good, but remember you got a body line. So
Yeah.
let's say the dent is about this big. That reminds me of what? A softball?
Softball.
About that size, plus another hour for the
Yeah.
line.
Right.
So what's the softball plus an hour? 4?
Mm-hmm.
That's good. 4 hours for that. Because you got a body line. Remember, he's gonna have to smooth all this area below the line, and
Yeah.
he's gonna have to smooth that area above
Sure.
the line. So 4 hours is good estimate,
Yeah.
judgment call, so to speak. This vehicle also has, we're replacing the bumper, by the way, but it also has a dent right here in the hood, right here. I'm gonna show it to you. See right there?
Mm-hmm.
And that dent, you always want to use your fingers when you're doing the, you want to point out something, use your finger here, toma, and then you show that this room. Now, another thing, we're going through this and we're learning about the estimating size-wise. Now, there's only one difference between this dent and any other dent on this car. This hood is made out of aluminum, and they will tell you that. So what happens is this,
let's just say, for all intents and purposes, that this has a body line in the center. However, I would say maybe it's 2.5 for a dent like that in the front. It's my finger right there. Actually, the same finger. Okay. So so it's maybe 2.5 plus another hour for the line. So that's a 3.5 hour dent. But because it's aluminum, there's a separate charge. It's a different hourly rate. So instead of, we decided it was going to be 3.5, right? But for regular, it's $54 an hour. Okay? So how much would that be, guys? Tell me. I don't wanna add nothing. About 160, 70,
Yeah, something like that.
189.
189. Okay. 189. Okay. We're still gonna put the same amount of hours, but because the hood is aluminum, we're gonna go with 3.5 hours. But in this case, it's at $65 an hour. And what does that equal to?
227 and a half.
Okay, so we're getting paid a little bit more. Now, the same thing goes for frame labor. Frame labor is equals $65 an hour. You ever work on fiberglass? A lot of custom people have fiberglass parts on their car. Fiberglass. Fiberglass requires also $65 an hour. Same thing for carbon fiber. Carbon fiber has a distinctive, if we don't paint it, it has a distinctive look about it. You know, it's got like cuadritos, you know, like little squares and all that. But there's a lot of people that have carbon fiber because they want the lighter weight and all that, and they still painted the color of the car, and that takes care of all that. All the, as far as those little square things, they're gone. This is being painted like a regular, and it's also $65 an hour.
That's very popular nowadays, carbon fiber,
Exactly.
especially for sports cars.
Exactly. Carbon fiber parts are being made all over the world, and these are the type of parts that you want the customer to pay for, because you don't want to deal with returns. You don't want to deal with, and then in the labor for those type of parts are always whatever is per hour, whatever it takes. Well, can't you tell me? Well, on a normal vehicle, it would take 2 hours, but I don't know how long it's going to take me or my guy to adapt this to whatever it is you want. So it could be 4 hours, you know, or more, you know. So based on that, just so that you know that you would know the difference. We still keep the hourly rate, the amount of your judgment call for 3.5 hours, but we're charging a little bit more. Now, the thing about aluminum is this. Depending on the weather and how hot it is or how cold it is, aluminum parts could crack very easy. They could crack, and it takes an expert. In fact, the only guy I know in town that I can trust to weld an aluminum part is a guy by the name of, it's a Cuban guy with a Russian name, Vladimir is his name, and I can get him anytime I want because he's a friend, but he can weld aluminum parts.
He's mobile. That's his business.
You say he's mobile?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow.
But anyway, it's very hard. A lot of people, it comes in very handy. I have a Range Rover in one of my shops that they gave me. They gave me a new hood. Now this hood is $1,700. $1,700 hood on a Land Rover, Range Rover brown Land Rover.
Right.
The dent was this big, but it was aluminum and it had a crack in it. So automatically, they gave me a new one. I bought a new one from Land Rover of Las Vegas. Got the hood. I'm putting it on the car, which is fine, but I'm keeping the old one, and I'm gonna have Vladimir come over and repair it, because that hood I'm gonna sell to somebody else with the Land Rover. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Because that's how you want to make money. So I'm not doing anything wrong. It would have been thrown away anyway. So anyway, the right fender and the hood are the only items that are being repaired on the car. The rest is basically R&R. R&R means remove and replace. So of course, the new bumper will have to be painted. The new grill, no painting there, but it's going to be a new grill. You know, I'm going to need to buy a new. Does anybody know what that is?
That's where they put the hooks to tow. Right?
Exactly. So what's missing right there is called the tow hook cover. Okay. Anyway, as you can see, what is this? Does anybody know what that is?
The parking sensor.
Correct. And then got a big gouge. Bottom grill is gone. From top grill is gone. This bumper's still on the car. So when the time comes for me to write a supplement for this thing, let's just say that both of these lights are good. And technically, on this particular model, you don't have to take off the headlights because the bumper is going to be repaired. Well, the only reason you would have to take the right one because the fender has to be replaced or repaired. So because the fender has to be repaired, we got to take that light off. But I always charge for taking off lights. It's just more money that, you know. So the next time I take photos, I got to remind myself, hey, the bumper's going to be off and so will the lights. I don't want to be caught with a bumper off the car and the lights are still on, because then you're charging for the lights as if they needed to be removed in order to take the bumper off. But here they are, they're still on there, and they're not going to believe you if you say, well, we put them back on. Fuck you, bitch. You know, they didn't do that, you know. So you want to be truthful with what you're doing. So you don't want to be caught with your pants down. So both lights have to come off, so you get paid for removing them. Okay? Wonder if I could do this like from this side. Shit.
Yeah, of course.
Why not? I don't think outside the box, right? Alright, so is that it there? Is there anything else there? Okay. What picture am I at? Am I in this one? Okay. I show the you always, when you're writing an estimate, it's a hit like this, you know, you got the front there. It's a hit like this. Well, you got hit in the front. You want to make sure you lift the hood up, because you might be able to tell that there's more parts that are damaged by having the hood up. Okay.
That's a good looking car.
Huh?
I like the XTS. That's a good looking car.
You know the one I like, the kind of like that I like, they don't make it since 2014, is the CTS Coupe. CTS Coupe.
Yeah. They were replaced with the CT5 now.
Yeah, I know, I don't like that one. Okay, let's see, what else do I have? Okay, let's see, I got a 2014 Aleman. It's got the front there. It's a hit like this, you know, you got the front there. It's a hit like this. Well, you got hit in the front. You want to make sure you lift the hood up, because you might be able to tell that there's more parts that are damaged by having the hood up. Okay.
This is let me see, another vehicle, I believe. Oh, this really wasn't too bad of a deal. Um, okay, this is what I wanted to show you on this particular one. Car got hit, kind of like left front right there. It damaged the cover. Uh, this particular that's the license plate. The wheel got hit right there a little bit. I took the tire off, and basically I had the technician take the tire off, and I can't tell whether it was damaged or not, but just the mere fact that I took the tire off uh, is showing whoever looks at it at the insurance company is that, well, I guess there must be something wrong with it. You know, they took the tire off, you know. So I took it off because I want to get a new knee, because I don't really know what's wrong with it. I'm gonna align it first, and you can kind of tell. See, this is a picture of the inside strut and all that. This is, well, I took a picture. I don't know if there's anything wrong with it. More than likely not. But I took a picture of that, and the insurance company, I'm not trying to deceive them, but I'm trying to get as much money as I can at the same time. And there is a good probability that it's damaged. And then at the end of the whole thing, what I did was I did a 3-point inspection. This here is what is called a link for your tie rod. Okay. So the minute that I see this, that I took this picture, that lets me know one thing, that I'm making a 3-point inspection, visual inspection of the vehicle. And the minute the adjuster sees it, he knows that's what I'm doing. So as you can see, the steering wheel is nice and straight. Now I'm going to let the insurance company guy know that I'm far way back to show them the car, so he can recognize the car and what it is. And then I'm going to go a little closer. Now I don't know if you guys can tell, but I can tell something. It's just maybe it's my trained eye or whatever, but I can see that this left rear door where it got hit, tire where it got hit has a toe problem.
Of course.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
See, and I'm showing them that.
Yeah. It's a little red back there.
I mean, I'm trying to get to the way you can tell is, for example, see where that balance panel is right here, and compared to that one, seems like this one is out a little bit, like an inch.
Yeah.
So basically, on that tire, we know the steering wheel is straight. The right front tire looks like it's straight. It's going straight, but the other one looks like it's like this. And an adjuster will look at it and say, "Oh, yeah, that's something wrong with it," you know. So he can either do two things. If he's a hard ass, he'll allow for an alignment to see where we're at with it, and it might fix the problem. Or if he doesn't want to hear about it anymore, he'll just give me a new knee. A new knee is the whole suspension for the front side. And insurance company never ever want to buy new stuff for suspensions, because even though there's moving parts there, you're getting like-kind quality. Like-kind quality is a used part that is in good condition, that has never been hit. So basically, if this car was a total loss, this right wheel, this right knee is perfectly correct. So they would sell that knee. They may not sell this knee, but they might sell this knee for, I don't know, $200, $250, something like that, for the whole knee. If you were to put every single item of that suspension into one single part price and all that, you're probably looking at about $800 or so
Easy.
in parts. So that's the situation there. So going back to, I had the wheel straight. I gave him a picture of further back so they could see the car. They could probably still see the damage too, but I gave them a closer look. So just to get these three pictures, to me means, say, 2.5 hours at $109 an hour. Figure it out. That's to replace a knee. So $109 an hour times 2.5 or whatever.
272.
272. The knee cost me probably 175, but I'm gonna charge the insurance company 250 plus a 25% markup. So 250 times 1.25 is how much?
275.
250? No, it's gonna be more than that.
250 times.
I need the, so basically clear 250 for the knee multiplied by 1.25, which
Oh,
gives, and that will equal
312.
$312.50 for that knee. So $312.50 taxable. So we're gonna tax that 8.380 equals that's what the
320.
312.
$8 worth of tax.
Okay, so figuring it out. Okay, so you got $8 plus 312 plus what you say 275 for the labor.
272.
272. So by me taking those three pictures, let's not forget the alignment, which is $119. So now by me taking those three pictures, the insurance adjuster will say, hey, well, that's going to cost whatever, $119 plus 272 plus 312 plus tax costs, whatever that, I don't know, probably $600-700, something like that. So 3 pictures for $700, I can do that all day long, Now, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to do it. It means it will do it, but remember, I'm going to make money on labor. I'm going to make money on buying that part. I probably could get that part for $175. So 312, 175. I just made 125, maybe 137, 137 profit on that used knee, and I'm going to make for $312. $312 labor-wise, I'm gonna make 60% of that, so times 0.60, I'm gonna make $187.35 for the shop, because the rest I gotta pay the guy to do it, which is technically about 40% of the labor cost, and all for taking 3 pictures. Okay. Let me see what this guy is. Let me see which car is this. Oh, it's a Lexus. Lexus, okay, we got your left front, left rear, right front, license plate, sticker for the VIN number, production date, all that, and then the mileage, 64,697. Then we start out with the damage. You got damage, you got rear end right here. You can see all that right there. This guy is a claimant, so this area is all messed up right there. He's got a dent in the deck lid as well. So this vehicle, I wrote it, I forgot what I wrote this, kind of like minimal. It wasn't torn down. This vehicle I didn't write. This vehicle was done through was done through virtual assist through Allstate's plan. And today, I was in here somewhere. Today I happened to have gone through again because now the vehicle's torn down. And I'm going to show you. Oh no, I didn't take any pictures because again it was virtual assist. So I'll tell you what the outcome was. I was able to get here's a claim right here, Allstate, and I was able. I showed them a dent that was in the stay, the rear stay. The rear stay is an area where the rear you got. This is after it was torn down. We found out that you got a reinforcement bar, which is the actual bumper of the car, not the cover, right? And then right behind this bar is something they call the stay. It's kind of like a shock absorber kind of thing. And of course, that's the left one. And that's the right one. And the cover just goes right behind it. Makes the car look pretty because this doesn't look very pretty for a car just to have that, but it's legal to drive it. It's just the rebar. Now, the stay is this guy. It's that guy right there. Some reinforcement bars have it and some don't. Some, in other words, they all have it, but some of them are sold separately and some of them are sold as part of the rebar. This is the rebar, the reinforcement bar. Reinforcement. So this is a left stay, and this is the right stay. Now, if you don't remember stays, you say, hey, the reinforcement left bracket. Makes sense, it's a bracket, that's what it is. Now, in this particular vehicle, it just so happens that this had a crunch, it wasn't visible. And this whole thing gotta be replaced, RPO. Replace that guy. Then we also discovered that this vehicle had a parking sensor system, and once we took the bumper cover off, we discovered that the parker sensor system harness, electrical harness for the parking sensors was damaged. It was actually cut. So I had to go around showing him with my phone where this damage was and that damage. And the result of that today, he emailed me right away, was, let me show you, it's on my phone. He sent it to me right away. It says, Allstate claims, yada yada. And then I go through all this, and then I go right here, boom, and it'll pop up the actual supplement that he did, which is all right here, but I'll be able to print it tomorrow. And at the end of the day, he paid me, where is it? Somewhere in time. That's the name of the movie. So, okay. So at the end of the day, oh, I'm sorry. This is a different one. Sorry about that. No, I had two Allstates today. That's what happened. Okay, this is the crew supplement. The 101 is this one. The Eddie Garcia supplement, which is this one. And that's on the Lexus. See, there's something that is when you do when you do things right. See, this is what is called a payment screen. I'm gonna try to see if I can make it bigger.
Yeah, there you
There
go.
we go. So this is a guy that's gonna pay me for that stay, and that electrical harness is gonna pay me $230 more, and he's gonna send it to me directly, not to my personal, but for that particular body shop. In this case, is Global Auto, one of my customers. So that means, what does this mean? It means that he can fix the car correctly now and get paid for it, and then it's a much better end result. You don't have the guy coming back say, hey, my parking sensors don't work anymore, and yada yada, and then now you gotta do more work because you didn't do it right, because now you gotta take the bumper off, and it's part of the warranty and all that. So it's better to do it right from the beginning, and boom, done. Now that's what I was showing on that happens to be what they call a payment screen. That means this money is coming to us directly. So the customer's car could be finished, and I know I'm getting my money. It's kind of like a guarantee that insurance company has first of all, the check is coming to Global. Everybody's happy. Here, take your car and get the fuck out. Get your car. Okay. Now the next thing is the actual how he came up to that $230. So there, what he paid, and basically it was just those two items that I said: the left stay, and all of that was in a matter of 2 hours. I accomplished the problem. It's already done, and everything got done by phone, virtual assistant. So that's the situation there. But anybody have any questions? We're wrapping up in the last 5 minutes or so.
From what I've learned so far about this business, I don't know if you guys agree with me or not. There's a lot of different ways to make a lot of money
Yes.
outside of working a 9 to 5. It's just unbelievable the amount of money you can make.
Yes.
Of course, it takes many years to get to the expertise of the caliber of individual that you are, Rob. But
But you can get to a working knowledge of it and make a lot of money.
of course,
My wife's estimator, like I said, he makes average $2,500 a week. I've seen checks for him for $3,000 something, in 1 week.
yeah.
Which
sounds
is
good,
not
right?
bad money,
Sounds good.
At the end of the month, hey, $10,000 to $1,200 or $12,000 in 1 month's time.